Hi Mom and Dad! Merry Christmas! You must be wondering why we're actually doing this video. Just thought that we don't really have a lot of time due to our busy schedule to share something that is close to our heart as to why Adeline and I actually accepted Christ and became Christians, and just thought that it's a good time to share. So it started from our time in Brisbane, where you actually instructed us that we have to meet a little bit more often. That's where Adeline took the opportunity to bring me to church, and where I get to know more international students and also eat more free food. So like that, I was very skeptical at times, and I was also afraid of being brainwashed. So I do have like a lot of questions about why they do certain things and why do they believe in someone that they couldn't see. However, when I keep going back, there are months of observation of how they actually interact with one another and how they actually live life so evidently, which actually make a big difference between them and other people. And I wonder, is this really about the Jesus that they are talking about? So the lessons that were shared in church and in life group were often lived out in these people's life and this group of friends that I realized, and maybe there's something about Jesus that I not only wanted but also needed in my life. I'm sure you heard of stories of how people change 180 degrees in life transformations, and after they have actually become Christians. But in my life, it wasn't so much that way. But what was different now is that I have learned to see things through his lenses and in a different perspective. Furthermore, I'm sure you know how withdrawn of a person I am as compared to how both of you are pretty happening in your life. So I'm used to having my own space, but this group of friends who I meet every Friday and on Sundays, friends who I go out with and have not just friends who I go out with and have fun, they're like a family with me. And the times where they spend time to encourage one another and to keep each other in prayer in good and bad times. My acceptance of Christ was not actually a rash decision or one that is to go against you, but in fact it's actually a very difficult decision, to knowing that is actually very against it. But accepting Jesus into my life actually brought me out of who I was and who I used to consider very little of. So there's this analogy that we use in our road to represent our life itself, where it goes on for miles and miles and miles. But what most of the time we focus on is this life that we have on earth that's represented on this red part here, where we actually work and save so hard just to actually find comfort here, be it traveling or even find success in this very end of our life. But what Christianity tells us is that we do have this long miles where it's a representation of the eternity that we have. And if we actually have that, why should we actually spend this little part, this red part here, trying to make ourselves comfortable and enjoying ourselves, when we have this one chance at this red part, and then comes eternity? We can't see what happens here in this green road. However, what we can see is that in this red part here, we know that it will come to an end. Then, Mom, your relationship with God and your salvation, your eternity, it really matters to me. It matters more than my career. It matters more than my financial situation, and it is important to me because all these things on earth, they will one day go, but the people that are closest to me, whom I wouldn't want to separate for eternity, is definitely my family members, you and Daddy. And I hope that one day you both would be willing to come to church with me. Love you!